So, welcome Chelsea Randall to our teacher feature interview. It's really a pleasure to have you and have families get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah,
And you grew up in our program, so
I
you've been
did.
with us a long time. Do you want to
Right.
share with families um, a little bit about what it was like growing up in prep music, and then what you did after that with music school?
Sure. Yeah, I started in prep music, as you said. I just have the memories of, driving to Holy Names. And at that time, my lessons actually weren't in the Kennedy building. I think they were in the gym. That was, way back when. I'm not even sure if the VCPA was there at the time. It may have been, but yeah, my lessons were in the gym and um, in the little rooms there. And it was just, I feel like I can't recall just any bad memories from prep music. It was great. It's really where I learned how to play the piano. My first experience with music lessons was actually with traditional, just a traditional method with learning how to read. And long story short, it didn't go all that great. So my mom was just she wanted me in music lessons, and the teacher that I had actually started with actually was the one who recommended the prep music department. So that's how I kind of ended up there, and I just really took to the Suzuki method. So just different methods are good for different kids. And I just really feel like this believe it really helped me develop my ear and everything. I remember doing the recitals and everything. My teacher was Miss Mika. So I was with her for a good while, and just really all great memories. I really have to attribute at least a big portion of how I learned how to play and kind of got my start to the Suzuki method and the prep music department, because that's really where I learned. And then since then, I ended up majoring in music in college. So I went to Holy Names for a while, and then I went to Cal State East Bay. And I really feel like one of the things that I got out of the prep music department was, with Suzuki and the whole, play and repeat and the by ear kind of thing. When I took sight singing in college, it was just really easy. So I really think that has something to do with the prep music, because for traditional readers, they didn't have the same experience. So learning how to sight sing, and you had the solfege and everything, it really went well. So yeah, I think that prep music was really a great experience for me.
Well, and I've heard you play particularly jazz, and
Hmm.
you're a fabulous player. So
Thank
I'm
you.
curious if you incorporate that after children have developed ease and
Hmm.
fluency on the piano. When they're farther along, are they interested in learning jazz and other genres? Do
Um,
you do that?
well, one of the things that I do like to do, once students kind of have their footing and are able to not just not just kind of learn songs and play and repeat, but they can play, then I like to start incorporating other things and exploring things. One thing that I do like to do is have them start writing their own songs.
Mm.
And it just gives them an opportunity to be creative and really think, okay, this is what I like. And then one of the things they learn how to do is learn how um, chords go along with their melodies. So I like kind of showing them, okay, if you're playing G major, then you might want to have a melody that's got a G, a B, and a D in it, something like that, so that your notes aren't clashing. So things like that, I like the to have them write the songs, and then definitely open for them if they ever want to kind of learn things outside of the normal Suzuki repertoire. Then that's always an option.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What do you love about teaching?
I just one moment I can think about is I have a student, and I know that as piano teachers, a lot of times, or at least for me, I feel like I do a lot of kind of hands-on where I'm really trying to aid the student and I'm trying to help them. But there was a moment when one of my students, he had the sheet music in front of him. So I have him doing Suzuki and traditional. So he had the sheet music in front of him and he was just reading and didn't need any help from me. And it was like, yes, kind of like a great moment like that. So I like to see the students progressing and growing. Being able to see their independence is great, and different things like that. So every now and then there's like these little moments when it's like you're doing it, or kind
Yeah.
of things like that.
What's it been like to adapt to online teaching with COVID?
It's been interesting. I think that it's not as maybe complicated as I would have made it in the beginning. Thinking like, okay, we got to switch to online, so I need this and I need this and all this tech stuff. And it's like, really, for me, it just ended up being an experience of finding a new way to do something I would have done in person. So not so much needing a whole lot of technological everything and gear and all of that, but really just, okay, normally I would have done this. Now, how can I do the same thing in a different way? So
Mhm.
one of the things I really like about Zoom is that I'm able to share the screen. So I can like have a picture or a scan of a page in the book, and then I can actually make notes in the students on their pages and everything. And
Mm.
I can circle, here's measure 5, play this note this way or something like that. So that I really like. But one thing I do like that I think that students have kind of gained is that online I feel like they're more independent than they would have been with me sitting there with them, because now they really have to. I can't point to their finger and say put this finger there, right? They
Right.
really have to think it through, and um, they just have to be more independent. They have to think, okay, she's told me to go to measure 6, so I'm using my eyes rather than me pointing to it, things like
Right.
that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think there's definitely advantages of the online teaching, and I think it's worked out pretty well.
You're a church musician.
Yes, with the online, I feel like it wasn't the same at first. With It's like normally there were people in the congregation, and then all of a sudden it was like, okay, we're just we're live streaming, kind of a thing. So that definitely, um when COVID first hit, it wasn't the same thing, because of course with church, it's very congregational as the word I'm thinking of. It's really people oriented. So you walk in and, hey, how you doing, everybody? And everybody's
Yeah.
just a lot of togetherness. So it's and I can kind of relate it. I mean, it's not exactly the same with church and other performances, but I just think of it like concerts. If you go to a concert and there's the band and then there's the crowd, and then everyone is it kind of feeds off of each other.
Right.
So I would say that that's kind of one of the differences that I'm assuming that churches are experiencing right now, is that just like with anything else, you're performing and you can't see the people that you're performing towards. So yeah, I think that's just something that a lot of churches have been, it's just adapting to. It's like in a lot of places, I know there's a lot of places that I feel like have been a little bit more locked down than we have. So it just seems like for those, they've just adapted.
But you don't have that audience energy to feed off of. But you just
Yeah,
figure out
yeah,
how to do it anyway.
yeah. I think that's what it is. I'm thinking of, I know, looking at football games and things where they have the little
Yeah.
screens of the people and they're like, you know,
Right.
just different things like that. So Yeah, I just I know for different churches, I'm sure they're missing the experience as is everyone else.
Yeah, but we'll get through it eventually. What do you like to do to decompress or relax and enjoy yourself?
One thing that I do like to do is I'm just thinking about. I just discovered a new song that I like. It's a jazz song, and I think for all of us, I don't know if hopefully it doesn't sound too cliche, but I think listening to music can be helpful. Um, and I like walking. Walking to me is a really gratifying experience. I like walking in um, places that have like a lot of nature.
Mhm.
So things like that, and just going on a solo walk and just kind of being by yourself and just looking at the at nature and the air. I mean, it's just really just regular things, right? Things that we may not necessarily always appreciate that much,
Yeah.
but that's an experience that I enjoy.
And is that more heightened because of COVID? Do you think it's because it makes you realize what you have to be grateful for more than before, or has it always been like that for you?
I think I just like things like that. Um, what I mean, one thing that I did appreciate, I think other people could probably relate when COVID first hit, and it was like you're sheltered in place. It was like we're going to In and Out Burger, and just to
Yeah.
sit in the line, it's like things like that. I think it just created, I guess, a new appreciation to just not being in the house. So as far as COVID, I had that experience, but yeah, I think as far as the nature and everything, I really just that's an experience I just like. I grew up playing sports. I don't know if you knew this, but I actually, when I was younger, I actually did hoop camp at Holy Names. They
Hmm.
had like a program, a basketball camp for kids, and I did that before I believe I might have been in high school at the time.
Hmm.
So sports and kind of things like that, active things have always been kind of a thing that I've enjoyed.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
it helps balance out the focus of music, the stillness in a way. I mean, playing music it requires us to be pretty athletic,
Mm-hmm.
but there's also this level of intense focus and stillness about it. Whereas
Right.
sports, it's
You're just kind of
focus, but
free.
yeah, physically
Right.
you can be
It's
freer and
yeah.
get your heart rate up and all that.
It's funny it just makes me think of when I'm practicing. Sometimes my Apple Watch will say, um, "You've closed one of your rings" or something, and I'm like, "I'm not working out. I'm just
Yeah.
my hand is just moving." It's just funny. I guess according to that, I actually am working out a little bit.
I've heard of that with string players too. I've heard violinists say that they get steps with every bow stroke.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I guess it's like an arm workout.
Yeah. Well, it's been really great to talk to you. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
All right.